Hey, okay, so I'm coming back to this the next day. One of the things, and we're going to refactor this delivery so that there's both a delivery and then a delivery attempt. And that way we can get rid of, for example, attempt count. We don't need that because we can just count the number of attempt records. We don't need last attempt at because we can just look at the last created at of an attempt record. We don't need delivered at because we can look at the success at or delivered at, or the created at of the last success, like the successful delivery attempt. We still will keep endpoint URL because that's like a record of where we are trying to deliver, but also response code and response body will go into the delivery attempt. So it's going to really clean up this record a lot. But there's another refactor that I'm going to come back to as well, which, the naming of this event model didn't feel quite right to me before, and now I remember why. When it comes to API design and webhooks and stuff like that, I still feel like Stripe is the gold standard of of the design, like what they did, back in 2011, 2012 or whatever, and they've only evolved on it. I feel like what they did was so clean and so good that when we're designing other modern APIs, I think we do well, not just their API design, but also the documentation and all that stuff. They just do it right. And I think they've set the bar and the standard for so many other people that are doing this work. However, in the Stripe API, they call the webhook itself the event. And I'm sure that that's what my brain was tripping on when I thought like, oh, isn't the event like, it's not really the event type. So what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to rename event to event type, so that we still have that lookup list of, thing.created, thing.destroyed or whatever. And then we're going to rename webhook to be the event. Now, where this becomes relevant for end users is when you want to verify that a webhook is actually authentic. One of the things that you can do is you can take the webhook that was delivered to you and then also hit the API with the ID of the webhook and say, hey, give me that event. Let me see the event. I'm requesting it from the API, have the API return it to me, and let me compare to make sure that that's the same as the record that I received. And in Stripe's API, that record is called the event. So I think this is worth. I think it's worth renaming because I think that it feels right. Like it feels like this isn't just a webhook. This is representative of a event that took place on the system that you're being notified about. So it makes sense that we should rename that. Yeah, that's gonna be fun, but we'll do it. So first, I'm going to rework this delivery thing. So we're going to have to, in fact, I don't even have to. You know what I'm gonna do? Instead of doing a change in the migration, what I'm going to do is just go back here. And then I can take this where we created the deliveries and I can get rid of delivered at, last attempt at. These don't even need to exist at all. I don't need the attempt count, endpoint URL, and then response code and body. We will, so there we go. And then what we will do in our little scratch pad There we go. So sorry to clear my throat there on the mic. Rails G model. And then I'll just drop all of these in. All right, and so now after create, we just do deliver. And we can get rid of all of this stuff. And deliver will obviously happen in the background at some point, or maybe the delivery attempt. And so what we'll do is just say delivery attempt dot create. All right. So when we do a delivery attempt, and in fact, we don't have to just create a delivery. We don't have to have that. What we can do is instead, where we're creating, so we can do where we're creating the delivery, we can create it and then deliver it. And so so yeah, when we create a delivery, we try to deliver it and it creates a delivery attempt and asks the attempt to attempt. So here we go here. It's going to attempt to deliver the webhook. In this case, we'll just say that attempts are always successful. So we'll say self, what did we say? Delivered at response code body. Do we want to say delivered at, or do we just say that a successful delivery is like a 200 response code? Yeah, why don't we just say that? All right. So we'll do that for now. And I think that's that. So now if you ask for, on the delivery, if you want to say like attempt count, delivered, Dun, dun, dun. Sweet. So that works. Yep. So it looks good. All right. So now we have and the point of keeping track of that is we want to be able to report to people, whether their deliveries are successful, give them, like, this is going to be a really, really good debug console for webhook interactions. It's not going to be some half-baked thing like I used to have on Churnbuster where it was, it was just good enough. No, like, this is going to be Stripe quality sort of webhook debug console out of the box for every SaaS app that's built on top of this platform. That's what we're going for. We want everything to be high quality. And when we figure out ways to improve this, we're going to improve it, and everybody's going to benefit from it. So that's the point. We want this super informative, more information than you thought you were even going to get. Really helpful developer tools for helping people debug why webhooks are or are not being delivered and verifying that they are. So the only thing that remains here is the actual implementation of delivering a webhook. So I am going to quickly review some HTTP docs. I always forget this stuff because I don't do it that often. So I'm going to quickly review some of that and do sort of an initial implementation here. Just give me a second. I'll be right back.